and out of a side door walks Paul McCartney. He said, I'll give you one piece of advice. Don't cut your hair.
5 decades in the industry, Grammy winner,
Straightening his hair.
platinum selling artist, straightening that iconic hair.
Still got it. It's amazing. I can't believe it myself at this age. It's quite incredible.
Looking good.
Thank you very much.
And rightly so, because you're getting ready for a big tour, of course.
Well, I'm very looked after.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful wife, Donatella, who's, we've got an organic garden and everything comes from that. So she feeds me really well. And the air in Australia is just fresh and brilliant. So, it's a nice way to extend your life living down there.
Oh, it sounds great.
It's been good, Sorry, England. I do still love you.
Leo Sayer is with us on Gold Radio. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, James.
Thank you for coming in. Can I just ask, just to start with, what's all this talk about Glastonbury at the moment? You've never played Glastonbury?
No. There's a lot of things I've never done. I mean, I've never had an Ivor Novello Award for the songwriting. I've had a Brit before they called it the Brits. But there's a lot of things that haven't happened to me in my career so there's, I don't know, stray bits of unfinished business to clear up.
A few loose ends.
Housekeeping.
Because I was going to say, as far as performing live goes, there can't be too many goals left to achieve.
Well, the other extraordinary thing is that there's not many people, when I check around, who've got 5 decades of performing in the industry and still can do it, in the same kind of way. I mean, the voice is still strong. I'm still singing falsetto.
I mean, I might ask you to give us a blast later on.
I will sing you something. But it's still there, and it surprises me as much as anybody else. So I think that I can put up a good show still, and it's viable to take that show to the best places that you can, Hollywood Bowl and all these places. Please
100%.
God, it's all ahead of us,
Yeah.
And here's the weird thing as well. I mean, I always knew that this was going to be, here I'm 76, but this is the peak time of my career. I really believe that my best work is ahead of me.
You look like you're having the time of your life.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
You really do. And like you say, you've got this big tour coming up, so it kicks off on the 24th.
24th, yeah.
That's why you're back over.
It's 2 years since the last time we toured here. And it's funny that the legacy of what I've done in my life seems to be growing even bigger, I don't know what it is, but people kind of like this age that we come from, all the acts, the music.
Well, it's that longing for the nostalgia, isn't it? Plus,
I think we made good records as well.
It was what a great era for music.
It was stunning. I mean, we had no mobiles, we had no internet, didn't have much television really.
Yeah.
But so ideas kind of struck you, and you had to create them from scratch.
It was so much more experimental back then.
It was really.
Do you think?
Yeah, and I still find that I'm still, motivated in the same creative way. I still feel like the next song I write will be the first one. So it comes from nothing. You don't know how they get there. I mean, a friend of mine was talking to Barry Gibb the other day and sent me a message, and Barry's just said, "Just tell Leo, I still don't know how we do it." And I thought that was a lovely thing to say, It's like, and he's damn right. And I sent him a message and said, "Me too, mate."
Is it because you come from that era, though? I mean, if you were starting out now, obviously things would be a lot different, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was a graphic designer. I used to do record companies, Bob Marley covers, Island record covers, and Club Scar and all this thing. I was a designer, and I was around in the swinging 60s, from about 67, 68, 69. I was in London doing all that stuff. So you were already in a creative zone. And I think that time really sort of inspired people right into 1974 or 5. It was inspiring people to be unique. That's what it's about. And I think that's the answer to the question, really, about would it be the same creatively now? I think it'd be very difficult because we're all so sidetracked. That's what MTV and videos did. They kind of like suddenly turned everything into, that's what they do. So if you go and see a Taylor Swift show, you're expecting a really organised show with lots of lights, dancers, everything, completely finished item. But it's not kind of the same as what guys like me do.
Well, I hear you like your shows to be a little bit more spontaneous.
Yeah, I love just working with the band, and we'll sing everything different and play everything different every night.
Great.
And there's that opening to do that. The old Buddy Holly song, Raining in My Heart, I use that now as a harmonica and guitar jam.
Wow.
So it kind of goes into, it can be 15 minutes sometimes. It's like I'm waiting for someone in the audience to say, "Shut up, Leo, get on with it." You know, but it's but you know that rapport is really nice. It's a chemistry that you create.
Yeah.
So you get some really good players, you know, and I'm blessed to work with great musicians, and you throw things at them, and they throw things at you, and it's wonderful. So there's a little challenge, you know. I've got a wicked keyboard player who's a jazzer in Australia, and he keeps changing the chords. He'll find a diminished ninth that he'll throw in there during You Make Me Feel Like Dancing, and it just turns the band into a completely different thing. And he has this big smile on his face. Bill Risby, his name is.
Yeah.
And every time we just turn around and go, "Yep, accept the challenge." So, you know, the song will go wherever it goes.
And what
the
about-
audience love it for that, you know.
Have you got your outfits ready for this tour, by the way?
I've
You used to have such
shopping yesterday.
You did?
Yeah. I'm toying with this crazy idea of wearing a Louis Vuitton denim suit for the opening show. And I'm thinking, you lush, how can you do that?
What colour is it?
Yeah,
No, that's
no,
the
it's
thing,
blue.
though.
It's blue.
It's only... What
Yeah.
about the bright colour costumes?
No, I can't do that any longer.
No?
No, I've given it up. I've still got all the gold and glitter jackets.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But, yeah, we're playing Butlins, actually, next week.
Right.
Just a one-off, and
Yeah.
you know everybody comes. It's those '60s weekends, you know, and they
Yeah,
all
yeah.
come down. It looks like the bar in Star Wars when you look out from the stage. You get Captain Marvel, you know, SpongeBob pants or whatever it is. You know, it's crackers, and they're all dressed up, and I'm going to be wearing a black suit probably.
Really?
Yeah. No, look, you don't want anything to take away from. Oh, dear, that's a dangerous word. The art that's happening on stage.
Yeah.
You know, so the more you complicate it with bells and swings and whistles, and I always say to the guys, keep the lights simple.
Yeah.
I've got a rock and roll guy who does my lights, and he loves flashing things, and he's always talking about me coming out of the bottom of the stage in a cloud of smoke. And I say, no, that's not what it's all about. We want them to listen to the words. You know?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you that. I mean, that look back, because it was an iconic look that
Beat
you
the
had
Piero, yeah.
on stage.
It was a good device.
But also the colourful outfits, obviously, you know, the big hair. Was that carefully crafted? Was that
No, not
intentional?
really.
Was it just you?
You know, you're just joining the zeitgeist of the time, really. I mean, you know, you look around and there's Mark Bolan, there's David dressed as Ziggy Stardust, you know, and there's Kiss. And I always loved a French movie. That's where it came from. Les Enfants du Paradis, a French movie with a wonderful guy playing a mime as a Pierrot.
Yeah.
White-faced, you know, you got Harlequin's the bad guy and Pierrot's the good guy. And Pierrot, he used to play this part, and I just thought, what an I couldn't stop looking at him. And I thought, maybe if I tried that costume, you know, it could have an effect. And when you're starting out, nobody knows who Leo Sayer is. You might walk on stage and you're suddenly a logo or something like that. You know, you've got this brand image.
Yeah.
And they all go, what? And we did the first tour like that with Roxy Music. And at the end of my show, they were always shouting for me to come back. Roxy got so fed up with me, they threw me off the tour in the end.
Is that right?
So I was a threat, you know. I mean, I love all those guys anyway, Brian. They're all good friends.
Yeah.
But it was kind of one of those crackers things where you suddenly felt that you'd made a mark somewhere, you know.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, when was the first time that you actually realised you were famous?
That's a very good question, because I've never taken it seriously.
You never have?
No, but I think I was in a store. It was 1976. And I was in a store it was the end of 1976, around Christmas time. I was shopping at Fifth Avenue in Bergdorf Goodman. And somebody, a member of the staff or so, there he is, he's number one, shouted over in an American accent, of course. And somebody came and said, you've got to go downstairs and see this. And I went down to the bottom floor of the store. I was on the third floor or something like that. Went down the elevator, went out to the street, and there was a crowd of people around. Somebody said, he's in the store, he's in the store. Leo Sayer, he's number one. And I didn't even know I was number one. They must have found, because it's a big thing to hit the charts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in America in those days. You know, so there's those hordes of people. And this big guy hoisted me up on his shoulders. And they said, where are you going? And I said, Plaza Hotel. And they marched me to the Plaza Hotel with this guy on this guy's shoulders, with the whole crowd going, you make me feel like dancing. It was amazing. And I thought, this is fame. It's either fame or heaven. I probably died on the way down the stairs, you know. And when I got to the hotel, there was a crowd of all the staff of the hotel were out the front applauding me as I came in. And the next day they upgraded my suite. So So yes, that was my experience of fame.
It does have its, it does have its privileges.
Yeah,
fame.
yeah,
absolutely.
I've never really wanted to overuse the privileges though, because I want to stay hungry.
Yeah,
I if you understand, it's like I diss everything I've done so far personally.
Do you?
Yeah, it's just nothing. The next record is going to be the big one.
All the big achievements.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything because I don't want to get big-headed and I don't want it to go to my head and I don't
even
like
after 5 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I accept it and it's fun and it's all good, but personally, in bed at night, I don't go, what a wonderful person I am. No, it just doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh my God, I've got to kind of clean the garden tomorrow.
I love that because I was going to ask you,
But that's how the only way you can stay working for 5 decades, really, unless you've got a lot of people around you who are hyping you up all the time. And there's plenty of those artists, as we all know, who I asked for the pink limousine, they've sent a white one, send it back. So
that's the thing.
I don't live like that. I mean, I love shopping at Marks and Spencer's, and I love shopping at Coles in Sydney, and I can walk around and do those things because I'm not doing the big star stuff.
Brilliant.
So I like to live as a normal person. In fact, my real name's Gerard, and it's only when people shout out Leo that I get reminded, oh God, it's him again.
Hey, look, when you started out, you worked with Adam Faith and David Courtney.
Yep.
That's quite something.
Yeah.
How did they influence you in any way?
Oh,
did they shape your career? How did they?
I think the first day I was with Adam, he took me to a brothel. Yeah, so he was trying to man me up, I suppose, and and then took me to that night. Took me to the RAC Club, and out of a side door walks Paul McCartney. And so he's trying to impress me, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Did you speak to Paul?
Yeah, Paul came out. He said, ask me anything you like.
Really?
So I said to him, what microphone? He said, I'm not going to tell you that. He said, you're going to find out. He said, I'll give you one piece of advice. Don't cut your hair.
Right, okay.
And I never did. And then years and years later, I was staying in Hollywood, and I'm walking down Sunset Boulevard towards Tower Records. Just like a day like today, jet lagged, just arrived in the country.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to, it's about 1 o'clock at night, and you can shop there all night, and I'm going to go and buy myself some records. They've given me a record player in the hotel room. Right. So, wow, let's see what's new. Crosby, Stills and Nash, wow. So I'm walking on down there, and a car pulls up, it's a Mercedes. And and the window winds down. I'm looking, thinking, who the hell is this? And it's, get in, and it's McCartney. He was there with, touring Venus and Mars with Wings at the time.
Yeah.
And he said, I recognise you. He said, you took my advice then, because he saw me from miles off with the big head of hair. And he said, that's Leo.
That's great. Oh, and where did you go?
We went to Tower Records. I bought him 10 records. He bought me 10 records. And we shared our tastes.
You must have been recognised in there.
Oh no, the two of us. It was fantastic. I mean, him more than me, but he was so lovely to be with. He's such a generous guy.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, yeah, forget about me. What about Leo's new record? What do you think of that? And it's just great experiences. But it's all in the book. It's just wonderful things, happenstance and circumstances that just fall in your lap.
I know you've said before you're quite humble. You don't like to go back to these things, but then I think it was 77. That was a fantastic year for you because that was the year you had those consecutive number ones.
Yeah, and I was tax exile living in America, touring all over the States as well. And I think I've got 3 records in the Billboard Top 100. Single charts that year, the summation, because How Much Love as well was another top 10 record.
You must admit that's pretty huge. I mean, You Make Me Feel Like Dancing, When I Need You, back-to-back number ones. What do you think it was about those songs that made them so timeless and they still connect with audiences now?
It's interesting because, it's very difficult to analyse, but then again, it was a time when there was a great crossover going between, let's be honest, white and black music.
Yeah.
There was Boz Scaggs had just got a crossover record with Lowdown the year before, and I was working with the same bunch of people, the same band anyway, Richard Perry, my producer. And Richard, it was a jam session, You Make Me Feel Like Dancing. It was just something we were singing in between another song. He recorded it and he played it back to me. He said, that's your hit. Because he knew a crossover hit like that was going to be huge. Hall & Oates were doing it. Boz was doing it, you know, all of these artists that sometimes the audience didn't even know if we were black or we were white, because we were using R&B and soul as our media, you know, as our medium. And when You Make Me Feel Like Dancing, you know, came out, it rocketed up the charts. It seemed to be that that's what people liked at that time. They loved that. You know, we had an American TV show, Soul Train.
Yeah.
You'd see a lot of the black artists there. And every now and then there'd be a David Bowie or a Hall & Oates would be on there. So there was this, I think there was this big movement for crossing over. And it was a lovely time because it was equalising the races, as it were, as well. Yeah. It was a great thing to be part of. And I got a Grammy for it, the best R&B song. And the R&B songs were supposed to be all by black artists at that time, but we were moving in, you know, blue-eyed soul, they called it.
Yeah, you know, top 40 radio at the time that really took off.
Yeah, we just hit that kind of moment, I think, in time where, and of course, just later on, following us up was Barry and the Boys with Staying Alive.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that in the same year.
Yeah.
So you know, you kind of see the effect of dance music, soul music, you know, something that was kind of somebody else's fealty, you know, moving into our area.
Absolutely. Great. And any messages for the fans?
Yeah, just come along.
Yeah.
You'll have a great time.
Starting in Southend.
Yeah.
And then all the way up to Scotland.
Yes.
You're playing Edinburgh,
Scotland.
Cardiff, and the Palladium in London as well, which will be great.
Yeah, it's really good.
We'll be there.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. It's lovely to be back.
It's lovely to have you. Thanks for coming into Gold Radio.
Anytime, man.
Don't leave it as long next time.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's no silver, it's only gold.
Gold Radio.